All right. I now call to order this meeting of the Gettysburg Area School Board Directors on this Monday, November 18th, 2019. Welcome to all our guests tonight, and especially we have two oncoming board members are here tonight. I appreciate you coming out, and we'll meet and greet you after the meeting tonight. Administrators, thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate that. And any other guests that are here, and of course Alex, Paper's here, thank you. All right. The purpose of this meeting is to conduct the business of the Gettysburg Area School District. Public comment is welcome, and issues will be referred to the appropriate board committee or administrator. Comments will be summarized in the official board minutes, which will be available by contacting the business office. Would you please take a moment to silence your cell phones and any other electronic devices at this time? Thank you. There was an executive session prior to this meeting dealing with personnel. At this time, would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mrs. Collins, please take note that all board members are present tonight. Under notices and communications, you'll notice there are things there that are now going to appear under there. The monthly enrollment will now appear under there, as well as the different activity funds and so on. So that's for your knowledge, and of course, if anytime you have any questions on any of those, we'll give you the opportunity to ask those. Is there any citizen participation tonight, Mr. Nett?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. And before we do move into our approvals, I do want to just point out to the board, I got this today from Bobby Weaver in the Human Resource Office, and it is a pamphlet she put together about the highlights of the district's insurance policy. And this is going to all the staff. And one of the things we talked about during negotiating was educating them. And I looked through this, I understand it. It's in language that I think I understand. It's not legalized stuff. So if you have a chance whenever you see Bobby, please thank her. I think she did a phenomenal job getting this together. And I don't know who else helped her on it. She pointed this out today, and I just wanted to bring it up because it's done well. And I think it will help our staff to better understand it. So that was what I want to do. Okay, routine approvals. The board will discuss and take action on the request to approve those items 5.1 to and including item 5.8.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions?
I do have a question. 5.3 course selection guide. First is a statement and a question. I'm so happy to see such a robust offering of new courses at the high school. It's wonderful to see that. The question is, for these courses in general, is there a minimum enrollment required for a course to run?
There currently isn't policy in this district. Some districts build policy for, as a guideline, more or less, but we do take a look at registration and the number of students that sign up. And they also look at that after the scheduling process each year, because what ends up happening is you'll get students that do course requests, and then you'll get students that schedule courses, and then this first couple of weeks of school, you'll get some drop ads and those kind of things, so they re-look at it a couple of weeks after school starts to see if you need to collapse sections or those kinds of things. But in general, we try to just meet the needs of all the student requests, and then we kind of go from there. You know, in the past, we've tried to run classes, at least in districts that I've been in previously, you know, try to get at least a dozen students in there. There are some exceptions, of course. Once you start getting into, you know, level 4 and 5 world language and those kind of things, you might start seeing numbers around 9 or 10. But that's in general.
All right, thank you.
Can I do a follow-up to that, reminding the board and also myself? If you recall, we got a letter a month or two ago from a community member and she asked that we take a look at sign language or being part of our foreign language or world language program, and don't let that one slip under the carpet, because I think that might be a good idea.
Our new courses tend to come up through a process at the building level, and then if it requires new staffing, we come to the board during the budget process. If it doesn't require new staffing, then we would try to make it work. But new courses and those kind of things tend to come through the building as opposed to a catch-all from emails. But we do consider things that we can.
Yeah, and obviously my reason for bringing that up is I won't have another chance to do it.
You go.
I just want to second, oh, wow. Okay, I'll sit back here. I want to second what Kathleen said and just kind of commend the staff that brought all the course offerings to the table. It's really phenomenal how many there are, and makes me wish that I were able to kind of take some of them and be a student in the school. So looking forward to that for our students.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Not, we'll then vote on our routine approvals. Carrie,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Alice,
Yes.
Al,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Sylvan,
Yes.
and I vote yes. There were two other items brought before you on the table tonight under routine approvals, with taking those separate. 5.9, which is employment. Both of them, actually, 5.9 and 5.10 deal with employment. We're going to take each one separately. 5.9 is that the board discuss and take action on a request to employ Theodore J. Wells as James Geddes Elementary Principal, effective on a date to be determined. Mr. Wells will receive a prorated salary of $105,000 plus receive benefits as listed in the administrative compensation plan. Is there a
Second.
And are there any questions or any discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll take the vote. Kathleen,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Alice,
Yes.
Al,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Sylvan,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Ted, congratulations, welcome. You can now text your wife and daughter and tell them to begin packing. Don't move from the bottom.
Thank you so
All right, and good luck on house hunting. All right, next item, under employment for administrative staff, that the board discuss and take action on a request to employ Belinda Wallen as business manager effective on a date to be determined. Ms. Wallen will receive a prorated salary of $124,000 plus receive benefits as listed in the administrative compensation plan.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All right, hearing none, we shall take the vote. Ken,
Yes.
Alice,
Yes.
Al,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Sylvan,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Belinda, congratulations. Welcome to the Gettysburg family. And I'm sure that Mr. Hunt will help orient you in the transition period. So if he doesn't, you let us know. All right. And now, the items for board action. There's one, item 6.1, and that is the district goals and benchmarks that we discussed at our last board meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Any more discussion or questions? All right, hearing none. Alice,
Yes.
Al,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Sylvan,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
and I vote yes. That brings us to the information items. The first one on there is 7.1, the policy number 109. and you all had an opportunity to look at that. That was discussed at the last policy meeting, and
Yeah, there was just
one change.
one small change to that, and that was to, policy refers back over to a policy that handles how the district deals with surplus materials. Everything fell under that policy except for like this one item. So now with that change to 109, and everything falls under that same policy in terms of how we look at discard items that we no longer use.
Does anyone have any questions concerning the policy after having a chance to review it? Okay, so you will find that on the next agenda for a vote. Okay, the next item is 7.2, the overnight trip. That's just, again, for your information, but if any board member has questions concerning that. My understanding is the policy is we do not vote on overnight trips. We do on overseas, but not overnight. So this is just information item, and unless you would have questions concerning that item. Okay? Next is 7.3, the Act 1 resolution.
Yes, and you probably saw the memo from Brad regarding that, you know, the January deadline in terms of Act 1. The Gettysburg Act 1 index is generally the base index. So I think that next year that would be 2.6% would be the ceiling at which the board would be able to levy taxes to meet the budget. So the reason we're putting this on this agenda is, as given in Brad's note, we don't think we'll qualify for any exceptions this year. So our goal would be to put the Act 1 resolution on the December 3rd agenda for approval. A resolution basically stating that we'll stay within the index as we prepare the next fiscal budget. So just put as information tonight, it would be action on December 3rd during the regular board meeting.
The only question I would have, and it actually goes back to the informational item that we're going to vote on, excuse me, at the next meeting. I'm not sure what we're doing with that agenda, because we're going to have how many new board members coming in. And I don't know if they're going to have an opportunity, I guess, through discussion to make a decision before they vote. So I would caution, be careful, we're going to put on an agenda without allowing the new members an opportunity to have a thoughtful process before being required to vote.
Yeah, we did definitely thought through that. I think one of the ideas of inviting folks out this evening was to be able to hear this agenda. The other thing is I'm more comfortable putting on an item such as limiting tax increases for approval than something else. I think that
No, I would agree with you. I would agree with you there wholeheartedly. I'm just saying it. I forgot to say it when Carlos was talking, that agenda should be, in my opinion, somewhat light, or we should be supplying the information to the board members prior to their oath.
yeah, and if we do that action on December 3rd, or actually we wouldn't need a second meeting in December, so that would be another option.
I think the other reason also to act on it as soon as the board can, even though it'll be a new board, is so that the business office doesn't have, so that we meet the deadline according to the state calendar of doing budgets, that they don't have to put together a preliminary budget.
No, I understand that.
Right.
My point was,
Right.
started going through this meeting, be cognizant of the fact that we have new board members coming in. I understand,
Right.
and I'm not going to speak for new board members, but we're voting on a specific, not to raise.
Right. Okay. The next item is the demographic study that was done by Dr. Stubman.
He's supposed to call me when he's getting off the highway, so I haven't heard anything yet.
We don't have it here yet.
We do have a summary of that, correct?
Yeah.
My suggestion would be to go through the rest of the agenda and have them be last.
Okay, we will do that. All right, next we have the board committee reports. I'll report on the policy committee. We met this month. The only policy that we discussed was policy 109. And we also continue to work on the school calendar and still fine tuning that, and that should be brought to you hopefully, at least what, January probably at some point, should be done. All right, and the next policy board meeting is on December 10th at 4 o'clock, right here in this room.
And I would just like to thank Carlos for standing in for me. I had a work conflict that night. And I would like to thank Jane for, with the policy we had tonight, we didn't have to review the entire document. If you notice, we had the change was indicated in red. And I thank Jane for being able to do that for us. And if at all possible, it'd be great to keep that practice going in the future.
Mr. President, the Finance and Facilities Committee is scheduled to meet on Thursday. We do not currently have agenda items, so we're going to cancel that meeting. The business office is quite busy, but we don't have items to be bringing yet at this time to the Finance and Facilities. So we'll meet next month, third Thursday of the month. I also wanted to share, it's not a board committee, but it is something that the board is participating in. The Joint Operating Committee for the newly formed Adams County Area Career and Technical Center will be meeting on this Wednesday evening. It's a 5:30 meeting. It's at PAC campus, and that is the launch of the new Joint Operating Committee. So excited to be a part of that, and I'll be reporting the outcomes of that meeting next time.
All right, thank you. Building program reports, Delay.
Good evening. Welcome again to our new employees. It's been fun getting to know you in the interviewing process. And we look forward to working with you when we get back from our winter break. And I'm excited that Ted had the opportunity to meet Shelley Lappy and Matt McFarland as well. They both reached out to him and made an opportunity to meet him while he's here. So I know the three of them will work well together, and they look forward to having him on their team. So this past week, I was able to work with GALA, the Gettysburg Area Leadership Academy team, and our topic was supervision and evaluation, and I've received a lot of comments about how much the group enjoyed the conversation, and one of the outcomes of that was the idea of adding peer coaching back to our differentiated supervision plan. So I look forward to working with some of them to work on the language and putting that back in and making it manageable and sustainable so that it's not too much work on teachers. But the outcomes are what we're looking for, true supervision with teacher leaders. So I'm excited about that. And this Thursday is our curriculum cabinet meeting, secondary department heads at 3 and then our elementary department heads at 4. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. This week, Thursday and Friday, be meeting with the state level superintendent's academy. We're currently going through kind of project development with some of the things that we're working on, sharing some of the things that we're doing with the Gettysburg Area Leadership Academy. Though that's internal to Gettysburg this year, my hope is that at some period or at some point, we can be working with the state with projects such as this to create alternate pathways to certification, so that universities and colleges may always own degrees, but perhaps districts working with professional organizations can also create alternate routes for certification. So we're thinking globally, not locally, with this project, and pretty excited about that. We've had two sessions with our academy, and Chris and Amory on the second session last week did a great job with supervision and evaluation. We've got 9 folks that are involved with that this year, and it's been great. Couple of things. I have a certificate of appreciation here for Jim Henderson for 8 years of school board service. So I want to congratulate and thank Jim for those 8 years on behalf of the district. And I also wanted to thank the folks that have been here since, I guess this board's been intact since January, with the 9 folks that are here. So for folks where we might be, getting close to the last meeting, it's, I think when you see the inside of the inner workings of the school district, you realize what a commitment being a school director really is. It goes well beyond those Monday meetings, occasionally, sometimes Monday through Thursday meetings, and so I just wanted to thank Mr. Wampler, Ms. Broadway, Mr. Henderson, Mr. Williams, and Mr. Hershey for their service on this school board. The thing that I've appreciated since I've been here for the past 2.5 years has been that the board has always been, including this one, it's always been extremely supportive in terms of creating and maintaining experiences for kids. And I consider that, our main mission. So we don't get to have the conversations enough, but just for me personally, thanks so much. It's been a privilege working with each one of you. So we were trying to figure out how to eat cake. But with a short delay in the arrival of the demographer, I'm thinking what we could do is do a short recess, have cake, and then when he shows up, do a brief demographic review.
Before we have our cake and eat it too, that was something we heard today.
Are we all good with that? So, all right, taking that advice, stand at recess for now.